everybody, to another exciting episode of Multiplayer, the podcast by Gamers for Gamers. I am your host, Zach Matscanis, alongside the lover boy himself, Javier Ortiz. What's up, baby?
Man, it's been years. It's felt like years, at least.
I know. Straight up, it feels like it's been a minute now. For the people that have been paying attention, or it's your first episode or whatever, we've been kind of out of commission for like a week or two now, and by I mean me. I've been having some some medical issues. Had like an infection in my bacterial infection in my gut, and I was in some pain for a while there, and I was really not I was not doing great for like a week and a half.
It's not
almost
feeling
2
good.
weeks. Oh yeah, man, it sucked. It sucked a big butt, and I'm feeling a lot better. So sorry, we're kind of MIA. I haven't really been posting anything lately. It's just finally, like literally yesterday, it was like the first day in like a week and a half or so that I even remotely felt kind of normal. So it's like now I'm on today was my last what's it called, antibiotic pill I had to take, and so feeling a little better, even though it's like I got all the bacteria is dead now. All the little good boys and the bad boys they're all dead. So
it's just it's a fresh start, clean slate.
Fresh start. So I got a little kombucha here on the side. Get them good bacterias back in my belly.
Nice.
Feeling all right. But I feel like I'm rusty on the hosting game. So we'll see how it goes today. I kind of today this episode I kind of want to keep it a little more casual, anyways. Just have a little fun with it. Because we never have fun on this show.
Never. It's awful.
Never ever. Yeah, this show it's all seriousness, but obviously there's been basically E3's around the corner, so people are starting to like announce new games or like updates to games. There's been just a bunch going on, and like I said, I've been out of commission, so it's just one of those things like we haven't had a chance to really talk about some stuff. I want to kind of catch up on like what we've been playing as of lately. I want to kind of talk a little bit about the new Horizon Forbidden West footage. Just get your thoughts on it. We haven't talked about it at all.
Yeah.
And then E3 and like kind of what we want out of E3 in this like weird digital press conference thing they're doing this year. So
2 years straight now, I think, right?
They didn't do anything last year.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it didn't even happen last year. Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah, they took the year off to kind of figure out what to do. If I remember correctly, last year E3, it was in like late April. They were like, "Yeah, we're still having a press conference. Like it's happening."
Yeah.
And then they're like, and then one day, like end of April, they're like, "We can't do it."
Yeah, just
like
never mind.
Yeah. So I'm sure they lost their deposit on
the convention
Los
center.
Angeles Convention Center and all that.
It's an expensive place.
Yeah, they probably lost. I would have to guess like $500,000.
Yeah, easy.
It's like, yeah. But anyway, so good amount to talk about today. But want to kind of keep it casual, just sort of like talk about what we've been playing and what we want to be playing in the near, or kind of near future, with new games getting announced and whatnot. So let's just jump right into it. So first off, like I said, before I'm rusty, Hav. Jeez. Remember everybody that Multiplayer is all over the place in your ears and in your face. You can find us at youtube.com/multiplayer, where you can see our ugly mugs. You can see me like, I don't know. I'm still suffering a little bit, but
you got a haircut?
I did. Oh yeah. I see. It's crazy. It's been too long. I got a haircut. It's all short now. I don't have the big man bun anymore. I finally, I got vaccinated like a month ago or so, and I was like, it's time. I'm finally gonna go get a haircut for the first time in like a year and some change.
Nice.
So my head's a little lighter. Then again, maybe that was like the source of my power, and then once I cut it off, it was all downhill from there.
Could be.
But yeah, youtube.com/multiplayer. It's where you can find the video version of the show. But if you hate videos, if you're just one of those, you're like, I like audio and nothing else. Well, we have what you need there. You can find us on podcast services of your choice. Pick a podcast service. Look for a multiplayer. Don't forget that ED on the end, and we're probably there. So check out all that goodness. Same thing if you like what we do, check us out over at patreon.com/multiplayer, where you can throw us $1 or $2 a month. It just kind of helps to support the show and what we do, which is talk about games and have a good time. Okay.
Love it.
We got that. Oh, and Hav, I tell you, every week that we do the show, I'm like, don't let me forget. These shows go out on Wednesdays.
I didn't even have to say anything. You remembered.
Maybe I'm not too rusty. I got this. Yeah, every Wednesday is when these shows air. So, okay, Hav, let's jump into this finally. Jeez.
About time. God.
Yeah. So, what you been playing, man? During this time of me being ill.
So,
the illest.
I think last time we checked in, I was playing RE8, and I've now beaten through that twice, and really fun.
Nice.
I think it has super high replayability, mainly because you get to unlock some stuff when you beat the game, and they have like these points where you can like buy things and makes the game more fun to play through. But besides that, I started a Zelda game that I'd never played because I was itching for Zelda because it feels like it's been 5 years now, 6 years, something like that.
Yeah, it's been a minute since a new Zelda game.
Yeah, so like it's been a long time. So I decided to get Link's Awakening on the Switch, and I had never played the original. I had played it for like an hour once when I was younger, and it wasn't mine; it was somebody else's on their Game Boy, and I thought it was great. And replaying it now, like as an adult, man, the game is adorable. It is super charming. It's so cute. I love it. I'm really enjoying it so much. I love the use of all the Mario assets in that game. It's so weird seeing it, like, and how there are certain sections of the game where it transitions from a top-down to like a side-scrolling with Goombas and piranha plants, and it's just like, why are these here? Like, it's such a weird, and like you can get a Yoshi doll at some point, and when you get it, it says like, man, you can't even count how many games you've seen him in, and it's like, so there are Nintendo games in this world that Link plays? It's so weird.
Yeah,
but
it's an oddball game.
It is. It's really weird, but I love it. It's really fun. It's super cute. Honestly, like my only gripe about it, and I know this was a thing that people had talked about when it first came out, was it's just like not optimized for the Switch, which is really weird because it's a Nintendo game made by Nintendo on their system, and it's like, if there's too much assets on screen when you first move over a screen, it gives a little bit of lag. Doesn't last very long, but it's there and you can feel it, which is just really odd. Like it's and they still haven't like, I just got the game, and there still hasn't been like any update or anything to fix any of that stuff, which is, I find, just really weird. That's the only thing that's really thrown me off, is like there are just some parts of the game where when it's loading all the assets on the screen, it just kind of slows down for a second, and it's just weird. I would expect that, obviously, like if I'm playing like The Witcher on Switch, yeah, I expect that, but not on a Zelda game, which, I didn't see any of that in Breath of the Wild, and that game seems much more intensive, like, for the processing on the Switch than Link's Awakening. But I don't know. I'm not a game designer. I'm not a developer. I don't understand the ins and outs of that stuff. I just thought it was kind of weird. But outside of that, yeah, it's a really enjoyable game. I really love it.
Yeah, it's definitely unfortunate that it has like optimization issues. I've heard that from a lot of people, and it's been out for a couple years now, so you'd think they'd go back and fix it.
Yeah, it's weird.
One quick correction, because Nintendo's actually not the developer on Link's Awakening. It's the company's called Grezzo. It's a Japanese studio from basically I think it's like a team of the guys that did the Mana series, like Secret of Mana and all that. So it's like people from Square that founded a new company, and and they've basically been working on. They did like the Ocarina of Time 3D and the Four Swords Anniversary Edition. So they basically do a lot with Nintendo and do a lot, with the Legend of Zelda series. Like they did like Triforce Heroes and all that fun stuff. So, they've been across like a bunch of that stuff. But and Miitopia, I think that's them as well.
Oh. But still, that's so strange. They have such a strong history with Nintendo, but they couldn't like crack the code, I guess is the way to say it best. Like odd, just really odd.
Yeah, I think, and obviously Nintendo published the game,
right?
But it's probably just one of those things where like they had a budget for that game in mind, and they probably hit that budget, and then they looked at the numbers, and it's like, well, it basically sold what we wanted.
Let's leave it alone.
If we yeah, exactly. It's like, let's not spend the extra money to like optimize the game, which is just unfortunate. That's just me speculating, but it's like, why else would they have not done it? It's just one of those things.
It's a shame.
Give these people 6 months and just like optimize the game.
Yeah, that's the only thing that's just really thrown me off when I play it, which is kind of a bummer. It's like, man, I wish you could just like cross the finish line almost, because it's great. It's just that little thing that's kind of annoying to deal with because it's constant. It's not just like, I boot up the game and it does it once. It happens pretty frequently, and it's just kind of annoying.
Yeah, that's a bummer, but glad overall it's like you're having fun with it.
Yeah, still like super cute and super fun.
Yeah. So moving on, the game I've been playing as of late, in my weird hazy phase of just like being just very sick and just like I feel crappy. I just need to sit down and do nothing because I feel awful. And luckily video games are there to help me pass the time and keep the pain in the back of my mind and not think about that stuff. But one of the games I played was Knockout City, which for the people that don't know what Knockout City is, it's basically an online multiplayer dodgeball game, and sounds like something that's just like it's probably fine or whatever. But this game is freaking rad. I don't know if you got a chance to try it out, Hav.
I haven't yet.
Yeah, you're missing out. So basically, as of right now, basically as of right now, they have a free trial, quote unquote trial of the game, where you can basically play the game for free up until level 25, which I hit level 25 in about maybe 4 hours, I would say. So you can basically, you can get online, you can play with people, you can go through all the tutorials, you can like buy some things in the shop, you can do all sorts of stuff, totally for free. And then, eventually you'll hit that 25 level cap, and it's like, all right, you gotta give us some money, baby.
It's a long demo.
Yeah, pretty much. But, obviously you keep all your, basically everything you got while you were playing, you everything transfers over. You don't have to start over or anything. But man, I hit like level 20, and I was like, I'm gonna buy this game because it's only $20, and I mean it's just like it's a lot of fun. I mean, it reminds me a lot of Splatoon, not necessarily in the way the game plays because they are pretty different. Like Splatoon is very much like you need to paint everything around you, and yes, you can shoot people and kill people, but like the purpose is to like paint everything, and this is very much like you need to knock out the other people by like throwing dodgeballs at them. But I would say it's very similar to Splatoon in kind of art style, where it's like kind of these more like cartoony sort of art style to it, as well as like accessibility as far as kind of difficulty curve to like learn the game and be decent at it. And I like to sort of describe Smash Brothers like this too, where it's like there's a low level of like entry as far as like figuring out how to play the game
Right.
and just being able to hop in and have some fun. But then you could take that so far and just really get into like, the nitty gritty
Yeah.
and be like, I'm going
Frame
like,
counting.
yeah, exactly. And I think this game is really similar to that, where it's just like you could just hop in, play some casual games with your friends, and really have a lot of fun. Or you can jump into league matches, which is like the more competitive scene. And man, you're playing some really good teams in that game that really like work together. So the main mode in that game is like 3v3, but they also have some like other modes where it's like 4v4 or like 1v1 v1 v1 and it's just super cool. It's a it's fun, it's kind of frantic, it's competitive, but like I would call it like a casual competitive scene.
Nice.
Where it's like you can just like I played the other night with a couple people I play games with, and it's like we just had a lot of fun, even though we went up against some like pretty crazy good teams. It's still just a lot of fun to play that game.
Since it has a level up process, does it like, can you like improve abilities or stats, or is it like more of just
no, everything's cosmetic. So
okay.
Yeah, so basically nobody has like an advantage other than maybe they've played the game more than you.
Oh, okay.
And that game really rewards like being really good at
Dodgeball.
working as a team.
Yeah.
And obviously you can like pass to teammates in the game, and you could just really just like surround some people and really mess them up. But man, I've been having a lot of fun with that game.
Nice.
It's a lot of fun, and I always like to have like a junk food game that I go back to. My junk food games kind of has been Overwatch for a long time, where it's just like if I'm like in between games, or just like I want to turn my brain off for a little bit and just chill out, Overwatch is like a great game to do that with. I think this is like right up there with like a really fun game. You could just hop in, play some matches and just hop out. So totally recommend it, especially for free, and especially if you can afford $20. It's a fun game, and it's like probably one of the problems with Overwatch is like you need 5 other friends to form a full team.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's hard. Sometimes you get placed with like some booty people that aren't good at the game. But Knockout City, you can play with 3 people, or 3 people total. So it's like if you got 2 friends and you just want to kick it for a night, that's a really great game to do it with.
Nice. Oh, I need to check it out.
Yeah, man. Go download the free demo. It is pretty darn good.
Nice.
Yeah, man. Okay. So that's what we've been playing. Let's get into what we want to be playing in the near future. And by that, I mean E3 is coming up, and there's already been some announcements coming out with a lot of indie developers over the past like week or so. And basically, a lot more is scheduled with E3, or like E3 adjacent. And by that, I mean like people like Nintendo and Sony, who aren't necessarily like with E3, but they're going to be doing stuff around E3. Like Nintendo has a Nintendo Direct June 15th, if I'm not mistaken. But it's like it has nothing to do with E3. It's just like, this is when we're doing this. Suck it.
It's usually their mentality.
Yeah, pretty much. Just like with Link's Awakening. It's like, you're going to buy this, it's not optimized. Suck
Deal
it.
with it. Hey, the Zelda game you don't really like, Skyward Sword? Well, we're going to release that too, with some cool looking Joy-Cons, and we know you're going to buy it, so suck it.
Suck it.
They're like, damn, they know me so well.
They get me every time with that.
Yep.
So yeah, basically, my little my little wind guard or little pop filter just popped off. So I might be popping now.
Pop.
I ain't gonna deal with it. So, all right. Basically, what I want to do, I want to go through the E3 schedule and basically just talk about each day and kind of what we would like to, see from some of this stuff. How's that sound?
Let's do it.
Okay, so let me scroll back up here. I am just like at the bottom of
and that's the end of E3.
That's the end. So first off, there was on June 5th. By the way, we're recording this June 7th. So there are things that basically have just happened in the last couple days, and there's probably going to be some things that happen in the next couple days. Oh, yeah. So yeah, we're recording this on June 7th. This is coming out, June 9th. So, there might be some new things that pop up in between these times. But so basically, June 5th, there was this Guerrilla Collective showcase, which Guerrilla Collective is basically just it's a collective, just like it says, of like indie titles and games and stuff. Hav, I don't know if you had a chance to kind of look through some of that stuff, or saw any of the basically the trailers, reveals, any of that from that event.
I don't think so. I think I missed that one.
Yeah, that's okay. So it's basically a lot of like smaller titles. One of the ones I do want to point out though that I thought was pretty darn interesting. Actually, there's two of them. The first one I think is a little less interesting, but it looks pretty funny. Is there's a new Jay and Silent Bob game.
Oh, is that the Mall Brawl?
Chronic Blunt Impact is what it's called.
Oh wait, no, I guess it's a different one. I'm thinking. I was thinking of there's a one called like Mall Brawl, and it's like an 8-bit style beat 'em up, I think.
Yeah, this one's more in like the I wouldn't call it 16-bit, but it's got a pretty nice art style to it, and it's basically a side-scrolling beat 'em up game.
Yeah, I've seen this before. Not like from the showcase, but this has been in development for a while. I think because I've seen images of this before, like the cartoony art style.
For sure. Yeah, so this is one that just sort of stood out as like I always love a good beat 'em up game, and this one looks fun. Yeah. So that one looks pretty great.
Yeah, I am looking forward to this. This does look awesome.
Yeah. The other game I wanted to highlight from this little Guerrilla Collective showcase, there's a game, and I'm not Taiwanese, so apologies if I pronounce anything wrong here, but there's a game called The Legend of Tianding, which seems pretty rad. By the way, there's people outside my place banging on a gong, so
nice.
if
I don't
you're hearing
hear
a gong in the background, it's just like, what is that noise? It's a gong. People are just hitting a gong for some reason. Anyways, so this game, The Legend of Tianding, it's a game about a guy, basically in Taiwanese lore is a guy by the name of Lao Tianding, who is basically like a Robin Hood type character in Taiwanese folklore, and this basically during the time of like Japanese colonialism, like turn of century, like 1900s, is sort of like when that lore sort of takes place. And so this game centers around this like folklore character, and basically like a side-scrolling action game. And so I mean, it looks super cool.
I'm watching a little bit of the gameplay now. It looks really nice, and I like the art style. It's really cool looking.
Yeah, so it's like a really interesting art style. Plus, it has like it looks like 80s and 90s like manga, sort of
anime. It looks
cutscenes and stuff.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty cool, and we don't get a lot of things in like I feel like we don't get a lot of like early 20th century Asian inspired games. It's kind of like a cool time for a lot of that side of the world, that I don't think a lot of games sort of do much with. So, having a game that takes place in Taiwan in the early 20th century just seems super interesting in general.
Yeah, for sure.
So, I'm definitely looking forward to this one. This is something that definitely looks pretty interesting to me.
Yeah, I like that. I like the gameplay, and you're right. It's kind of like I think are you familiar with Legend of Korra?
Yeah,
It's like that kind of time period. Yeah, it's like that in between of like old world and like new world technology, and like you can see the changing. Like it's funny like watching them. Even like the cover art, like he looks like a traditional. They look like traditional like old school like. I don't want to stereotype it, just like old like the way. I don't know how to say this without sounding weird, but like their outfits look like old world almost, right? Where it's not like people wearing like modern clothing, but like there's a telephone in the background and there's like desks and like cabinets and stuff, and so it looks like modern-ish, but like the way people are dressed doesn't look like it. And that's why I was saying like Korra. It's like that, like you're saying, like that early 20th century, like the boom of technology is happening, but like old world is still there, very much there.
Yeah.
So yeah, for sure, it looks really interesting.
Yeah, and then there's one more game I wanted to just mention quickly, which is it's called Anew: The Distant Light, which is like it looks kind of interesting, like this sort of sci-fi exploration kind of game. Hard to explain, but if you're listening to this, look up Anew: The Distant Light and just watch a trailer. There's some cool stuff going on there with. Yeah, it almost looks like a 2D Mario Galaxy with a gun, and a little bit as far as like you're like jumping from like little asteroid to asteroid sometimes, like moving around, and basically different pockets of like of gravity will kind of pull you in one direction and stuff. But I don't know, it looks kind of interesting. So.
Nice.
Just wanted to kind of mention those games as like some big highlights. But moving on. So on let's see here, June 12th. That's the first day of E3, and there's going to be another Guerrilla Collective showcase. So we'll definitely get some more indie stuff going on. And then at 11 a.m. we're going to have the Ubisoft, or excuse me, at noon is going to be the Ubisoft Forward show, as well as later that day at some point is the Gearbox presentation. So, Ubisoft and Gearbox are kind of the big ones on that first day, Saturday, June 12th. Is there anything that you're hoping to see from like Ubisoft or Gearbox that you would be excited for?
I mean, for Ubisoft, it would be, I don't know if it'll ever come out, but Skull and Bones. Remember that?
Skull and Bones.
Right?
Yeah.
Like I feel like we've been talking about that for years, and it's just like, man, that's the pirate game that I have always wanted, and it, we had like the taste of it in Assassin's Creed. I think it was 4, Black Flag.
Black Flag.
But yeah, I'm hoping there's an update. I'm really, because that's some sort of. It doesn't have to be like online, but like some sort of really cool pirate game is like, man, I think we've been missing that for a long time. Like I know Sea of Thieves is still around. I've heard that it's been doing pretty well, but it's a narrative device that's not really explored very much. I don't know why. Like I just don't get it. Maybe it's like not hot right now. Like it's not in this cultural zeitgeist right now, but like,
I think it's just hard to do interesting things with pirates because like 99% of the time, a pirate's just on a ship in the middle of the ocean doing nothing. It's like, so like maybe that's maybe it's just like
maybe, but I mean you could, but still like there's like there's sailor folklore and there's so much thing. Like think of it like Ghost of Tsushima, right? Ghost of Tsushima.
Sure.
There's nothing supernatural about it. It's all real world. But they lean heavily into like Japanese folklore and storytelling. Even though technically there's not any monsters or anything that you encounter, it's always people. They still show it to you, and it's really interesting. So it's like you could definitely do that with pirates. Like there's tons of like sea folklore and stuff that you could like, fuse into a game. It doesn't necessarily have to be real, but like just using it as a narrative device or as something to help the player be like, ooh, this is interesting. I want to do that. I think it's totally possible. And, it's not like you have to spend your entire time at sea. Like, you can go to shore and like explore islands or whatever. I mean, I don't know. I'm not the maker of the game, but I'd really like to see an update, because Black Flag was fun because you were a pirate and there were pirate things you could do. And so it's like, man, we all know that's why you wanted to make that game. So like, just make it already. Like, show us something. Like, I want that. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, Skull and Bones was right at the top of my list too. So
nice.
we're right on the same page. Like, I think it's been going through like transformations over the past few years, which is why we haven't really gotten any new news from it. I think it was probably like a single player thing that probably went to like a multiplayer thing, and then probably back to a single player thing.
Know what to do with it.
So I don't know where that game is now, like what they're doing with it. Kind of last we heard about it was like it was supposed to be a Sea of Thieves type game where it's like, you're with your crew and you're going and fighting other ships and stuff.
Get buried treasure and
so we'll see. We'll see if we hear from it this year. I hope we do, because it's been a minute. I think it was 2017 that we heard about it. I think that was the year we went to E3, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so 2017 is 2017 is when they announced it, and then it just went dark.
Yeah.
And so I mean, that one's definitely at the top of my list. Same thing with the next Rainbow Six game that they're working on. The name's escaping me off the top of my head right now, but
Rainbow 7.
Rainbow 7. But yeah, it's just Ubisoft, with all their problems, mostly with, I think, boring games like Assassin's Creed and Far and Far Cry as well, basically like just these big like fetch quest games that I think are shallow and
it would be really cool if they did a sequel to Mario Rabbids. 'Cause that game's really good. That game's
so
great.
That's actually one of my predictions. I have a feeling Ubisoft is going to announce a Rabbids 2 game this year. So that's prediction number 1 for me is Rabbids 2.
I hope so, because that game is so much fun.
Yeah, I think that is probably very high on the list of like possibilities.
Nice. I hope you're right.
I think it sold well. I think the team that worked on it probably had a great time making it and would want to do something else. And
I don't think it really had any negative reviews at all. I think it was universally just like, man, this is really great. Like, it's weird that Mario and like Rabbids are together, but they're also in like a what's it called? The name of the game's escaping me. The tactical shooting. I'm blanking.
What are you trying to get at?
It's the sci-fi game. It's just like Mario Rabbids, where
XCOM.
XCOM. That's what it was. I was like, I know it's calm. I was like, is Soul calm? No, that's not a thing. No. It's like XCOM but with Mario, which is weird, but it was great. It was so much fun.
Yeah. So I have a feeling we might see that this year. I feel like we might see that before we even see Skull and Bones.
I wouldn't put it past them.
But yeah, I would love to see a new Rabbids game. I definitely want to see what they're doing next with Rainbow Six. And Skull and Bones. I don't really care about whatever's going on with Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, or what's it called? What's the other one?
The Ubisoft games.
Yeah. It's just us.
See?
I can't remember.
It's hard,
I can't
right?
think of it. I can't think of it right now.
I don't know.
Watch Dogs. There it is. I was like, it's dog something. Man, there's games I just do not care about whatsoever.
Well, because also Assassin's Creed Valhalla just came out not too long ago. So I mean, I doubt. Yeah. I mean, I shouldn't say I doubt because they release them like every year. But like,
exactly.
like it's still pretty fresh. Like I wouldn't. But that hasn't stopped them before, so I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, they're basically cranking out Assassin's Creed games every year to the end of time.
Yeah,
Essentially.
yeah. Although for some reason they still haven't done the ninja one, and I'm just waiting for that ninja game, that ninja
Yeah.
one. That's the one where I'll probably buy it, just because it'll
Well,
make sense.
Ghost of Tsushima already made a better
That's true.
Assassin's Creed.
That's very
so,
true.
And then, man, I would love if we got some new information for Beyond Good and Evil 2, but I doubt
That's
it.
another one that's like locked away in the basement.
Yeah, I just don't know if it'll ever come out. But man, I love the first Beyond Good and Evil, and it's just, who knows what's going on with that second game.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. So yeah, and then as far as what's called Gearbox, I just don't care.
That's fair.
I just like there are people that love Borderlands, and I am not one of them.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, I never played one. I just for some reason never appealed to me. Never really grabbed me.
Yeah, I've just I've never been a fan of Gearbox, and I'm not starting to.
Well, maybe they'll change your mind.
Maybe we'll see. Well, they have some sort of presentation, so maybe they got some like dope stuff to announce. We'll see on that one. And so that's Saturday, and then Sunday, June 13th. Although on this IGN article it says June 13 or like with an RD at the end of 13.
No.
It's like it's like I think you did that wrong, IGN.
Yeah.
13erd.
13erd. The 13erd of June.
Yep. So basically, I think this is going to be kind of the big day because we're going to have the Xbox and Bethesda showcase, and then we're going to have the Square Enix showcase, and then we're going to have the PC gaming show, and then something called the Future Game Show, which is basically a production company that I was like, I don't know who Future Games is. And I looked them up, and I only see one game that they're working on that looks rad, and we can get into that in a minute.
Okay.
Oh wait, no, that's actually a different game. I don't know what these people make.
Maybe they're just talking about the future of games.
Maybe
that's what E3 is all about, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe. So, So basically, I guess the big ones, Xbox, Bethesda, and then Square Enix. What are you feeling?
Come on, baby, it's obvious. Bethesda, Starfield. Come on, man, a big sci-fi RPG.
Yeah,
give me that, man. It's like
it's time.
It really is. I think there was the Outer Worlds, which was basically just Fallout in space. It was fun. It was very entertaining. It was super enjoyable. But I'm waiting for the next Mass Effect, and I'm hoping that this is it. Because man, Mass Effect is the last, at least for me, the last sci-fi game where I was like, this world is incredible. This story, the races, the amount of lore and detail from Mass Effect is fantastic, and I want that again. So if you're gonna give me a sci-fi RPG, I'm hoping that Starfield is the next. I'm not saying gameplay wise, but just the density of the world. It just has a lot to offer. Where it's man, I love this. The exploration of this universe, this galaxy. I guess it could be because it's in space, but just the attention to detail with characters and races and just worlds. I'd love it. I want that. I want another great sci-fi epic, and I'm hoping, and I think a lot of people are hoping the same for Starfield, and with good reason. Bethesda makes really big open world games with lots of lore and stuff, so I'm hoping this can follow that, and hopefully it's great. I really want big news from that.
Yeah, and if I had to put money on it, if I was a betting man, I would say they're definitely showing Starfield, because I think now that Xbox owns Bethesda, they need a big win.
Oh yeah.
They need to be look, Xbox, Bethesda, it's one and the same, and here is like a huge like AAA game
Yeah.
that probably still isn't coming out for a while, but like this is what we're cooking up, and you need an Xbox to play it. Like that's going to be their front and center. Like you need to play even more than Halo. Like even more than Halo.
Oh
in
yeah,
my opinion.
I agree.
They're going to really lean on Starfield. Because it's just like that's their new purchase. That's like their baby now. Like Bethesda is basically their Naughty Dog at this point, you know.
Yeah,
and,
for sure. It's like captured on an Xbox
just...
Series X, and look at it. Look at the stars. They look so real.
Look at the fields.
Look at all the fields of the stars.
Whoa!
It's like look at it.
So yeah. So I think that's gonna be their. You know, they're going to be like just really banging that drum like Bethesda, Xbox, you know, you got to have an Xbox and you got to play the new Starfield whenever that comes out.
Yeah, totally.
Which I think will maybe be next year, but
yeah, I hope so. The sooner the better,
yeah,
you know. It looks amazing. I just want a super epic sci-fi world and just, you know, basically the next Mass Effect. Give me the next Mass Effect. I think the world is missing it.
Yeah, for sure. And then I'm sure we'll see a new look at Halo. I mean, I hope it's good this time.
Yeah, let's re-render some of these guys, Mr. Ape Face, whoever that was.
Yeah. I mean, it was a little fugly last time, but you know, hopefully they come out swinging this time. Like, hey, here is
I think they will.
You know, here is I think so too. And so, you know, we have that. The one I don't think we'll see, but it would be really cool to see is what's it called? The new Indiana Jones game from Machine Games.
That's right.
Which, you know, obviously, you know, Machine Games under the Bethesda umbrella, you know, it's the guys that do Wolfenstein. First off, I would freaking love if we finally saw the new Wolfenstein game, because that's like so near and dear to my heart. I love the new Wolfenstein games from Machine Games. I'm sure one's been in the oven for a few years now, and I would absolutely love to see it. The Indiana Jones thing I know is like a newer endeavor, so we probably won't see it, but it would be cool to know a little more about
you might get
whatever
a logo.
that Indiana Jones game is. Yeah, so we'll see. I would love to just see literally anything. Just give me a little taste. Like, let me just see a pre-rendered Indiana Jones like whipping a Nazi in the face.
Yeah.
I'll take a hat. I'll take a hat look.
Yeah.
So we'll see. So I think that's kind of, and obviously I think Xbox is just going to come out swinging with a bunch of like, yo, here is Game Pass,
Sure,
like just beating that drum. So why not?
another one that I really would like to see more of, and hopefully they show more, is Hellblade 2. I would love to see like what they're coming up with. And same deal, like captured on the best Xbox you can buy. Look at it. Look at her and her bleeding in her face, and it looks so cool. Like I want to see more Hellblade 2, like as soon as possible.
100%. Yeah, I totally think that we're gonna see that too. I think that's like their other big game that's like, we need stuff to compete with Sony and have people like just blown away. Oh my god, look how good this looks.
Yeah.
And you can only play this on Xbox. And I think Hellblade 2 is definitely going to be one of those games. So I think we'll totally see that. And I have a feeling we might see something this year from Compulsion Games, who are the guys that did We Happy Few.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think we might. I think it's about time we see something from them. So, you know, We Happy Few had its problems, but I really like the world that they built. And I'm excited to see whatever they have cooking up next. So we'll see. And then, you know, some other things going on that day is Square Enix. Same with Warner Brothers is going to have some announcements that day as well.
Oh, yeah.
So is there anything you're excited to see out of Warner Brothers or Square?
Well, Square,
Batman games.
Well, I mean, yeah, for Warner Brothers, I'm hoping, I doubt it, but I'd love to see the next Arkham game, because it's been too long. But I feel like it's just gonna be more about like, look at Gotham Knights and the Suicide Squad game. Can't you wait? It's gonna be great. Like, and they'll probably have maybe some Lego thing, which would be fun and cute. Square, man, I hope they're just like, there's nothing you could do about it, but like, I just hope they do something to make the Avengers game more interesting. Cause man,
It'd be nice.
That game is so like just dull. Like it's just like, I played it. Well, I haven't I didn't complete the story or anything, but like, man, from what I played, I was just like, this is just not as much fun as it should be. It's lacking depth and just, it's so, I don't want to say vanilla, but it's just like, it's just not fun. I don't know. It's like, it usually, when you see a superhero movie, you're like, whoa, this is so crazy. Look at all the crazy things happening. And in the game, it's just like, it just doesn't feel that way. It's just kind of lame.
Yeah.
And like, everyone kind of does the same stuff. And like, the characters, I don't know, they're not that interesting. So I don't know. Hopefully, maybe they'll be like, and now you're going to get to play Spider-Man. I don't know how they would do that, but like, maybe they can find a way to get him in there, because I feel like that's the only thing they could do to make that game like more interesting, and get people back into it.
It's problem is it's just like, it's the same issue with what's it called that we're just, you and I, we're both like forgetting all the names of games today. We're rusty.
Yeah.
What's shoot, Anthem is the game I'm thinking of. It's like, it's one of those things where it's like, the game, it came out, it was kind of lacking, and it's like, unless you just dump a ton of resources and money into it, it's just, that, like, the game is kind of, it's going to be flawed no matter what. It's just, it's unfortunate. This Avengers game, it was like, it had to do everything, and because of that, it does everything, but it's like a jack of all trades, master of none kind of thing. And it's just like, because of that, the systems are in place, and it's just, you could add new content, but other than that, like, I mean, the same flaws are kind of there, which is a bummer.
I think it's just the philosophy of trying to make a superhero game as a looter shooter, I think, is just a misstep from the jump. It's just,
100%.
Just don't, give me a strong narrative. Focus on that and less on whatever else you're trying to do with the online play. It's because it's just not. It's just not that great.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. A lot of people love the Avengers and and superheroes in the Marvel world, and I like it too, and I would love to enjoy that game more than I do now, because I don't really enjoy it that much right now. So I'm hoping they do something. They say something about it, and they're just like, look, we're not going to admit that it's not that great, but here's what we're going to add to make it a little more fun. I don't know. They got to do something to figure it out, because I feel like that game, I don't want to say it's a flop, but it's just, not living up to expectations.
Yeah, it's definitely unfortunate.
Yeah.
So just moving on, just before we run out of time here. And I'm sure, Square Enix, I'm sure we'll hear some stuff about Final Fantasy 16 and stuff like that, but I don't know how much more they really have to announce, but hopefully some cool stuff.
Yeah.
So Monday, June 14th, we're going to be getting some announcements from Take-Two. We're going to be getting announcements from Capcom. And then those are kind of the big ones. And there's like a bunch of indie stuff as well. Mythical Games presentation, Freedom Games presentations. Once again, like Freedom Games, I tried to look up, couldn't really find anything. So it's like, just smaller thing. But the big ones, obviously, Take-Two and Capcom that day. Anything you'd like to see from either of those two groups?
I'd like Capcom to update us on that Resident Evil, whatever it was called, the multiplayer that was supposed to come out with Village.
Oh yeah.
I forget what it's called.
I think that's gonna be a dud.
Yeah, maybe, but I'm just like, I still would like to see when
Sure.
we'd be able to try it, because they said day one you're gonna get it with Village, and then like 2 weeks before Village, like actually you're not gonna be able to play this for a while. So, maybe we'll get an update on something. Other than that, I mean, again, I clamor for it, but I sure would like something Mega Man related to come back.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Be nice.
I doubt it, but it'd be great to, because I've also on the side been playing a little bit of Mega Man X2. I'm almost beaten it. I've beaten all the bosses. I just need to play through like the final boss. But it's great. So I'd really like a return, a true Mega Man return to form. That'd be really nice.
Yeah.
But here's holding out hope. I really don't know what else they would have to offer.
Yeah. Capcom's a tricky one. I don't. Other than some like Resident Evil stuff, yeah,
because I'm not really interested in Street
know.
Fighter. I'm not really, ever since like after 3, Street Fighter, I just haven't really liked it all that much.
Yeah.
And like I like Resident Evil. Hopefully they'll be like, hey, Resident Evil 4 remake, baby, it's coming, it's gonna be awesome. It's like that. Yeah. If they said that the same year that Village came out, I'd be like, oh my god, these Resident Evil people are just they're shooting all cylinders. They're just on the money right now. This is amazing. But I doubt it.
Yeah, I feel like we won't hear about that until at the very least next year. Like the whispers I've heard is like there were a lot of creative differences with the direction to go with that RE4 remake, and basically I think that project kind of started from scratch a few times, so I think it's gonna take a little time before we hear anything else from that.
Maybe. But they're
we'll
weird
see.
when they release stuff in January and February, right? So I mean, maybe. Who knows?
Yeah. So we'll see.
Yeah.
And then Take-Two. I mean, they have a presentation, but it's like Take-Two. That's a lot of like. I mean, that's basically Rockstar. And maybe we'll hear something with
GTA.
New mode for Red Dead. Maybe we'll hear something about GTA 6, which would be pretty crazy.
Although they don't have to. It's like
they don't have to.
Yeah,
they could
really
just release
don't.
it tomorrow if they wanted.
Yeah, it's like man, you guys are still playing GTA or still buying and playing GTA 5. Well, I guess we really don't need to talk about 6 yet.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And then Tuesday, June 15th, that's when we're getting a Nintendo presentation.
Yeah.
We're also getting a presentation from Bandai Namco. So, yeah. I think we could both say we want to see Breath of the Wild 2.
I think that's
I think that's like
the obvious stuff. Breath of the Wild 2, the
Yeah.
next Switch, like that's obviously I think that's. But I wouldn't mind a new Mario game either. New 3D Mario game. It's been a minute,
man.
Give
me an Odyssey 2.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'm
really
gonna
great.
I'm gonna put this out into the universe. We'll see what happens. But I'm gonna say that because Nintendo and Microsoft are so cool, we're gonna get a little Banjo collection, a little Banjo-Kazooie collection.
Man, that'd be so nice.
Yeah, I feel like if there's ever a time for it to be a possibility, it's now. Because like they're super nice with each other. Those two companies, they're all cool. Like there's no bad blood. So I mean, I feel like it's possible. If there were ever a time for it to happen, it'd be now. And I'm really hoping. I think that'd be super great.
Yeah, I would love to see like just a Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie like HD remake of those games. Like I would poop myself in excitement.
Yeah, honestly, like man, you keep doing this kind of stuff. It's like Nintendo. You can just take as long as you want to develop your new games. I'll keep buying just these HD. You gave me the Mario HD collection. You're releasing
Yeah.
Skyward Sword HD, did Link's Awakening in HD. Give me Banjo-Kazooie HD. I'm totally fine with that. I have no problems.
Be nice.
Yeah. So I'm hoping
Yeah, we'll
that
see,
happens.
man.
That's a little hopeful prediction. Probably won't happen, but I'm just putting it out there. I would really like it to happen.
Yeah. I just have a feeling we're gonna get a Mario Kart 9 announcement.
Oh yeah,
something
you're
in
talking
me,
about that.
I just have like that Nintendo tingle, I get
Sure.
sometimes. I'm like, I feel like it's coming. I feel like we're gonna get a Mario Kart 9 announcement.
What other
It's gonna be glorious.
What other Wii U games have they not ported? Like, what are the good Wii U games they haven't gotten to yet? I feel like there's a Star Fox game in there, right? That they haven't.
Yeah, there's a Star Fox game in there that they technically could port. You did have to do a lot with the screen with the Wii U touchpad. So they'd have to figure that out. I mean, I would just like a new Star Fox game in general because a lot of people weren't a big fan of that Star Fox Zero game.
That's what it was, Zero.
So
maybe a new Star Fox.
Yeah, I would like. I would love a new Star Fox. Just continue that story. They keep just basically telling the same story over and over. Like Star Fox 64, Star Fox Zero. They're basically all the same story. It's like,
I think a lot of
move
Nintendo,
on. A lot of
Nintendo games are like that, though, aren't they?
Yeah, but other Mario, things like Mario, Donkey Kong, stuff like that. It's all like kind of the same stories, but that's like fine. Like Star Fox is in this like Star Wars type world where you have all these kooky characters and a bit, there's like a story there and in a universe there that like you can explore and do like really interesting stuff with. And we saw a bit of that with like Star Fox Adventure, and just give me like more stories in the Star Fox universe. It would be fantastic.
Yeah, for sure.
I basically want a Mass Effect game set in the Star Fox universe. Like legit, like I would
yeah,
freaking love that.
I think that'd be sick. They totally could.
Yeah. Nintendo plus BioWare. Just, oh man, give it to me. Give it to me. Or Starfield is secretly a Star Fox game.
Oh, could you imagine?
Oh my god, that would blow my mind.
Well, they did that one crossover. I'm pointing because I have the box over there of that. I forget what it was, but there's like, they did like a Star game, but if you bought it at the Switch, you got the little Star Fox ship.
Oh yeah. And that actually, so this is something I've been kind of thinking for a while. So the team that made that game, and I'm blanking on the name right now.
I don't remember.
You should look it up while I'm talking. But that game
Starlink
and those developers, Starlink. So I have a feeling. So the Ubisoft team that made Starlink, I have a feeling. Once again, it's like that Nintendo tingle I get sometimes, where I have a feeling they're working on a Star Fox game. Like that team, Ubisoft's already proved themselves with Rabbids, and it's something where like Nintendo is like, all right, you did a great job with like this Starlink, Star Fox crossover. We'll give you the keys to the kingdom. You can make a Star Fox game. It's like, that would be incredible because it's like that. I didn't play much of Starlink, but like the flying felt great, and it felt like a Star Fox game.
Right.
And really, all I wished that game had was more Star Fox. Like, I just wanted it to be a Star Fox game, and it wasn't. Even with, like, the, extra Star Fox stuff in there, it's just like, I just want this to be a Star Fox game. So, maybe we'll see that.
Good.
That's a great prediction right there.
Yeah, well,
we'll see.
Maybe.
Put it out in the universe. We will see. Also, give me my damn F-Zero game. Give it to me.
Well,
I want an open world F-Zero game, you bastards.
You can also be nice to update us on Metroid Prime 4. Just something to be like, it's still happening. Just don't make it Skull and Bones or Beyond Good and Evil 2. Just just give me regular updates. Just let me know where you are at the process.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure, man. So, we'll see. I think this is going to be an interesting year to see. I feel like feel like we'll get some good announcements out of E3, because like last year everybody kind of hunkered down. It was like, a lot of games kind of got pushed out because of of just timing and trying to figure out like work from home and whatnot. So I think everybody's figured that out and has been working on whatever games they're working on, and now it's like time to hear about some of these games that kind of got pushed out because of COVID. So it'll be interesting. I'm excited. It's weird. It's like, because it's just a digital event, it feels like it's less exciting. But at the same time, I'm excited that we might be getting some really interesting news out of like all the big I mean, Microsoft's going to come out swinging. I'm sure Sony, which we didn't even talk about Sony, but I'm sure they'll have some interesting announcements. I have a feeling we'll hear about the Last of Us Factions mode. I just have a feeling. My Naughty Dog tingle. I got a tingle for everybody. Yeah, we'll probably get some more Horizon and probably something we haven't heard of from Sony. I'm sure Nintendo's going to have some weird announcements.
ARMS
just, like,
2.
Things we didn't think was coming. Yeah, but, you're building controllers out of cardboard or, like, plexiglass or something. Like, just something weird, like, you're just not expecting we'll probably get from Nintendo.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
The Switch 2 is just like or the Switch Pro is just like a hat that you wear.
You have the Joy-Cons go attached to your shoes now, so you have to move your feet in order to do things.
Or you can put them in your ears, one or the other. Oh, man. So, yeah, we'll see, man. Hopefully, our show next week will have a lot of like exciting things to sort of go over.
I hope so.
We'll probably, I'm kind of doing this on the fly, but maybe we'll post our show a little later next week so that we can talk about like
cover
all
everything.
The announcements coming out. Yeah, exactly. Like coming out on Tuesday and whatnot. Because we typically record on Sunday or Monday, but maybe we'll do like a Tuesday night or a Wednesday recording and push the show a little later next week just to kind of get some of that E3 news in there. But
that makes sense.
Yeah, we'll see. Stay tuned, everybody, for that info. Like I said, just kind of working live. There was like a bunch of things I still wanted to get to as far as one day we'll get back to Nintendo Don't Know Jack.
Yeah, someday.
But before we go, if you have a quick story, I would love to hear what your favorite E3 memory is. I
mean, honestly, it has to be the one that we went to. That was
a good one.
That was the first time I ever been to E3. It was. I just moved to LA, I was just here for, because that was 2017 and I had moved to LA in the fall of 2016. So I hadn't even been here a year. And just being able to go and, record some of the stuff that was happening and like seeing like, I remember the Wolfenstein diner that they had. It was really interesting. It looked really cool. The Spider-Man showcase they had. We even got to talk with Sean Layden like at the bar later that night.
That was amazing. We talked to Todd Howard.
Yeah, it nuts. Like they were just hanging out. And we were like, we're talking to you right now. Like, and they were really nice and really interesting. And like, the stuff they had to say was super cool. And just like hearing them talk about, the passion they have for like, their companies and like what they want to do. And, I loved it. I loved every second of it. And honestly, like, that was I remember also distinctly that was the year that DB Fighters was coming out, and so we got to play the demo. We were like the last in line to play that demo, and like playing it for the first time, where we're like, oh my god, this game is beautiful and it plays so well. It's gorgeous. Like and there's a reason why it was like the best fighting game of the year. Is like it was amazing. So yeah, I mean honestly, man, I have to say like that one. Just being able to see everything and just being able to be there, and that was the year that Odyssey was coming out, and like Nintendo's section was all decked out.
Booth was rad.
Yeah, like they had the hat ship. It was gorgeous. It was awesome, and like I know the Super Mario Odyssey song was just on a loop the whole time, but I never got tired of it. I loved it. Like I was soaking it in. It was like going to Disney World for the first time, man. I Had a great time. I like so that one, just everything encompassing the 2017 E3. Just because I was there, it was awesome.
Yeah, that was great, and it's one of the reasons I really hope that E3 comes back as a live conference. Again, it's something where E3 my entire life has just been something I've watched on TV and through like G4 and stuff like that, and then later through like IGN or like whatever YouTube channel, and since moving to LA, there's been years like even if I didn't go to E3 proper, it's been incredible to even just being near E3 because you'll just if you're just in downtown LA, you'll just run into different developers and just you could start up a conversation with them.
Yeah.
And it's super nice, just meeting these people that are so passionate about the art form that they're a part of. And same thing with like just the fans and the game journalists that are around. Just everybody's there for this like one exciting event. And it's like in the gaming world, gaming space, there's so much like negative energy put out through talking to strangers online, or just like people through Twitter or whatever social media forum, just like F this, F that, F you.
Aloy's face isn't the same. I don't like it.
And because of it, I want you to die, you
Yeah.
stupid like Sony people. And it's just like there's so much of that negativeness. But then things like E3 really brings out the best in what in the gaming community, where it's like everybody's there because just everybody there just loves gaming, and it's just putting out these like this great energy. And so I'm right there with you with like some of my favorite memories is just like going to E3 and going to like some of the E3 events that were nearby. Can't remember the year. I think it was like 2015 where or maybe it was even earlier than that, 2015, that there was like a Smash Brothers tournament for the Wii U version of the game, and it wasn't out yet. So they brought in some of the Smash fighting or like kind of big tournament guys, and had a big tournament on stage. And like Reggie was there, and Reggie got called out, like, I'm coming for you next, Reggie. And Reggie's like, I'm going to train, and then next year I'm going to kick your ass. Yeah. And it's just like, and Sakurai was there, and everybody's going nuts. And like, that was an incredible time to be alive. It was like going to that like Smash show, that Smash tournament live. Man, it's just great. So I really hope that E3 comes back and they can work out the kinks with like letting the public in as well, which has never been like a great experience. But it's like kind of going there, basically as a journalist.
Sure.
I guess we're quote unquote journalists or whatever.
Technically,
at least a journalist pass has been like fantastic. So we'll see, man. I love E3. I hope it goes on forever and ever, and they just work out the kinks with the public and getting things back on track. You know, we'll see how this year goes as a digital event. But yeah, I'm excited, dude. Cool. So that is our show. Thank you everybody so much for joining us this week. So I swear one day we'll get back to you Nintendo Don't Know Jack. There's always just so much to talk about,
Yeah, man. I feel like next week we won't get to it.
Yeah, no, definitely not next week. That's all E3. Yeah, definitely. That's an easy bet right there.
Yeah.
But thank you so much, everybody, for joining us this week. Remember, these shows go live every Wednesday, except for maybe next week. We might do something different for that. You can check us out at patreon.com/multiplayer, where if you like what we're talking about, support us over there. For like $1 or $2 a month, it just helps keep the lights on and help us do what we love, which is hanging out, talking about video games, and having a good time. And tell your friends, your cat, your grandma, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. We'd love to build a show. We'd love to build a little family of like-minded people that want to talk about games.
I want friends.
I want some friends. For the first time in my life, I would love a few friends. I got a cat here. It's my only friend. And even her I don't like very much. So, but yeah, Hav, where can we find you online?
On Instagram at loverboy_Hav.
Right. You can find me at Zach Matsganis. That's ZACKMATCGANIS. And of course, you can find us at Go Multiplayered over on Instagram. Thank you so much, everybody. And we will see you all and talk to you all next week. And of course, remember,
we love you, and you should love you too.
Darn tootin'. And we also love E3, baby. Woo! Peace.